Put it in park. So close. What's up, guys? So welcome back. This is my after action report on my 2022 Toyota Tundra. I did a 10-day road trip to Overland Expo in Bend, Oregon. It crossed 3 states and probably close to 1,000 miles. So after that experience, I figured I'd make a video reporting back to you guys the pros and the cons, the good and the bad, any issues that I had, and report it back to you guys so you guys can learn from my experience. All right, so let's start off with the good things. All the good things on this thing. Well, actually, let's start off on what truck this is, because some of you guys might be new to my channel. So this is the new 2022 Toyota Tundra. I bought it back in February of 2022. And this is the SR5 in magnetic gray. V6 twin turbo. It's a 3.5 liter V6 twin turbo, not the hybrid. So just your run-of-the-mill SR5. So my opinion on the V6 twin turbo and the 10-speed transmission is I love it. I can't really fault something that actually performs really well, right? Like I said, I came from a V8 Tundra and I love that. It sounded great and it performed well. But the 6-speed transmission on that V8 model just wasn't the most refined experience. Whereas this V6 twin turbo with the 10-speed, whole nother world, man. The 10-speed transmission, I think, really does a lot when it comes to the experience of it being smooth. When those twin turbos kick in, yeah, they have a lot of power and a lot of torque, but I think that 10-speed transmission really is the game changer because it doesn't jerk. It's not jerky in the experience when you're driving this thing, you know, with a big trailer on the back. It's super smooth, and I love it. I think it's great. I wasn't a big fan of it at first. When it first came out, I was like, ugh, V6 twin turbo. But again, after a 10-day, 3-state, 1,000-mile road trip with a trailer on the back, I can 100% vouch for at least my specific model. The V6 twin turbo 10-speed transmission works absolutely great. I love it. Absolutely love it. So I have a couple friends who are like, oh yeah, your truck is cute. It's a V6, you know, it's not a real full-size truck. And I'm like, no, it's a full-size truck. They're like, no, it's not. You know, that thing fits in if it fits in your garage, it's not a full-size truck. And you got to have a 8-foot bed and a Cummins turbo diesel or some big, you know, 7-liter V8 to be a real truck. Here's my thoughts on that. I actually like the fact that this truck feels smaller than a full-size truck. Like, it maneuvers like a smaller truck. It's got power like a big truck, but it feels like a smaller truck, and I like that. You know, I like the Toyota Tacomas. I love them, and if it wasn't for the weak engine of a Tacoma, I probably would have bought a Tacoma. But you know, when you load it up with 4 people and all their camping gear, and then maybe some bikes or a motorcycle or a camper or a trailer, the V6 on the Tacoma sucks. It is what it is. I used to work for Toyota. I used to build Tacomas, and even though I'm biased and I love Tacomas, I can be honest, the engine on the Tacomas suck ass. Especially when you put a load on them. They just suck. But this truck here with the V6 twin turbos, I think this is the engine they should put in a Tacoma. Man, if you put twin turbos on a V6 Tacoma, oh my God. Toyota would have an absolute killer truck if they did that. It would blow people away, for one, and the market for Tacomas would just go through the absolute roof, because then you'd have a small, nimble truck that can fit on, you know, smaller trails for camping and exploring, and you'd have gobs of power with the twin turbos like the Tundra has. So I don't know, Toyota, if you're listening, I know you're not, but if for whatever reason, by a miracle, you're listening, make a Tacoma with twin turbos just like the Tundra. Heck, even put a hybrid motor on there too and really blow people's minds. But I think that's what they should do, and that's one of the reasons why I love this truck, is because it feels like a big Tacoma, really. It's not crazy obnoxious big, but it is bigger, but more importantly, it has way more power than a Tacoma, and that's what I like about it. It does have the premium package, so that means it has the larger 14-inch LCD screen. This does have a tow package, so it has all the hookups for towing a trailer. 10-speed automatic transmission, four-wheel drive. This also has the air ride suspension, so there's an airbag system in the back here. As you can see, this truck has a 4,000-pound trailer on the back, and there's zero squat. Look at that. That's awesome. No squat. I saw many trailers on this trip, many trucks with trailers on this trip, and a lot of them had squat, because, you know, when you have a truck that's set up for rock crawling or going off-road, the suspension is soft for a reason. You want to get good articulation, crawling over rocks, going through, you know, rugged terrain. You want that flex. But when you put a trailer on that truck, the truck just goes boop down to the ground. This doesn't do that because of the airbags. And that is literally one of the biggest reasons why I got this specific truck versus a TRD Pro or TRD Off-Road. Because as awesome as those trucks are for off-roading, the rear end would just squat, and I'd have to do something with the springs, or get an airbag system, or beef up the springs, or do something to keep it from squatting, because that's unsafe. You can have a dangerous situation if you have too much squat. It just kind of upsets the suspension and you lose traction and all that stuff. But with airbags, look at that. This thing rode so smooth. It actually rode even better with the trailer on it. I almost feel like it was actually smoother with the trailer on here, which is cool. Yeah, so if you're on the fence about the airbag suspension for the new Tundra, you're like, should I get it or should I get the TRD Off-Road? If you're going to be towing trailers, I 100% recommend you just skipping the TRD Off-Road suspension package and going with the air ride suspension, because these airbags were absolutely phenomenal on my 1,000-mile 3-state road trip, camping trip. It was just so good, so buttery smooth on the road. Keep in mind, I have aftermarket tires. These are not the factory tires, so I probably could have got even better performance on asphalt if I would have gone with the road tires that it came with. These are mud terrains, Toyo Open Country 295 7017s on 17-inch wheels. So they are kind of big balloony wheels, and they're mud terrains, so they're kind of loud. They got the big lugs. But even with the big mud terrain lugs, this thing still towed phenomenal. I think that's equivalent to like 33.5-inch tire. It's not quite 35, but the experience was just so awesome. Nice and smooth, very controllable. This trailer, sometimes I didn't even feel like the trailer was back here. That's how comfortable it was. It was so good. This also has, like I said, the towing package. So 7-pin and 4-pin connectors. When you plug that pin in, the dash lights up and it says trailer detected. So that allows you to go into the settings on the gauge cluster, and actually the truck is so smart, it'll ask you how much weight is your trailer. It'll also ask you what kind of brakes does the trailer have. Does it have electric brakes or hydraulic brakes? It wants to know that stuff so it can calibrate the truck to tow the trailer, which I think is the reason why it towed so well and so smooth down the highway, because the truck, you know, has all these computers that help you drive the truck, right? Also too, when you hit the tow haul mode, let me show you this real quick. So on the center console, on this one, you have tow haul mode. You can see it right there. When you turn the truck on and you hit tow haul mode, what that does is that changes the shift points in the 10-speed transmission that makes it easier to tow trailers. At least that's what the manual says. And it also does something with the engine and the the steering as well. So it doesn't say exactly what it does, but it literally says in the manual, tow haul mode will adjust engine, transmission, and steering inputs to make it easier to tow a trailer. So I think that's pretty awesome. Very, very cool. Another thing that this thing has too is, since it's set up for towing more so than going off-road, this has right here, see those two buttons right there, those two levers? That's your trailer brake controller. So a lot of times on this trip, because we're going through the mountains in Oregon, I would tap the plus button here to give it more gain, which basically makes the trailer brakes activate with more pressure when I hit the brakes. So let's just say I'm going down a grade, down a mountain, and I was getting nervous, like, uh-oh, I need to make sure this trailer stays nice and stable. I'd tap the plus button maybe once or twice, and it would give you 5% increases. I believe it's 0.5% increases on the sensitivity for the brakes. So for me, my sweet spot was anywhere between 4 and 5 on the gain for the trailer brake controller. I'm sure that'll change depending on whatever size trailer you're running, and it could even change on what tires you're running or even the truck that you're in. But it was really nice having that trailer brake controller. And then another thing that was fantastic was the 6 cameras that were on this truck here. I have 6 cameras to help me drive with this trailer. So many times I'd pull into a campground or a parking lot or a gas station, and I'm trying to do a turnaround, you know, a U-turn, and instead of having my wife ground guide me to see if this bumper right here is going to hit something like a parked vehicle or a pipe or a building, I could just use this camera here and the mirror cameras here, and then also the 2 cameras that are up there and the camera that's back here, to really get a good idea of where this truck is when I'm moving around obstacles. The overhead God view or bird's eye view is phenomenal. You can really see what's around you. I was also very nervous because I have 3 kids with a 5-year-old daughter, and I was always nervous that there might be a kid running around the truck, especially at the campsites. There's kids everywhere on bikes. It was nice having those cameras, you know, on to help me see what's around my truck. I love it. It was just worth every penny, guys. Can't say enough about the camera system. Loved it. Absolutely loved it. Let's talk about backing this thing up to hook up. So this camera right here is a game changer too. With all the guidelines, I didn't even need my wife to ground guide me. I could literally use the camera to line the hitch up with the mount here from inside the driver's seat. I didn't need any help. And then another thing that's cool is because it has an air ride suspension, all I had to do was hit the up or down lever on the airbag system. So for hooking it up, I would drop the airbags down. The ball would be about 2 inches below here, and it would go right underneath. I'd come out here just to double check to make sure I'm right underneath it, and then hit the up button on the lever, and the truck would just go whoop, right into the hitch. I didn't even have to hardly mess with the crank on here, which was awesome, and it just made life so much easier when you're doing everything by yourself. All right, this is going to be a quick demonstration of how easy it is to back up a 2022 Tundra using the backup cameras. You have an overhead view, which is very helpful just to give you a general idea of what's around your vehicle. You know, kids, you know, vehicles, trees, boxes, hoses. Also, the green line lines up your hitch. Mine is actually off to, my hitch is actually off to the right just a little bit of the green line, so it's not 100% perfect. But if I line up that green line just to the side of my hitch, so it's picking up that travel trailer. Just inch it, break it, break it, break it. There we go. There we go. And boom. Put it in park. Let's go see how close we got it. Look at that. dang near perfect. Very nice. I also lowered it, so let's go ahead and hit the airbags and lift it up. Alright, so I put it in reverse. I hit the up button on the airbags. It's showing that it's lifting it up right there. As you can see right there, it says high. And the truck is slowly coming up. You might not be able to see it here, but the truck is slowly coming up into the receiver. That might be it there. Let's go outside and take a look. Let's put it in park. There we go. We're safe. You can see the truck has been lifted up. We're off just a little bit. Here, let's see if we can push the truck a little bit. So close. There we go. All right, we're in. Let's lower it down. There we go. Just dropped right in. So I did this all by myself with no help in just, I don't know, 60 seconds. I could do it by myself normally. I could do this by myself. I'd have to get in and get out and get in and get out and get in and get out until I got it just right. But with the cameras, it's literally like 30 to 60 seconds and you're done. And then once you're all locked up and chained up, you plug in. Again, the truck will sense the 7-pin connector. As you go down the road, the rear of the truck would automatically level to where it's not squatting. There's like a little arm attached to the airbag system, and wherever that arm always wants to stay in a certain position. So if the truck has weight, that arm is obviously going to be out of calibration, so it'll go up until that arm gets back into that position. It's kind of hard to explain, but it'll find the automatic level position, which is nice, so that you'll never have to worry about squat. So another thing I really loved about this this specific 2022 Tundra is I could hit the view button right here. You hit that and you could see the trailer, obviously, but when you're driving, it'll show you a different view. It'll actually show you that view right there when you're driving, which is nice to see what's going on with your trailer. Or even better, you could see the hitch itself. When I'm driving, I would check to see if my propane tanks were fine. You know, sometimes this cover here might, you know, flop around or something. I just wanted to make sure that this propane cover wasn't flying off. And also too, you can just get a better view of the hookups. And I really like that. Instills a lot of confidence. All right, let's talk about fuel mileage or fuel efficiency. So this is the V6 twin turbo non-hybrid with roughly 400 horsepower and almost 500 foot-pounds of torque. And with this 4,000 pound trailer, again, I'm guessing, I can't remember exactly what the trailer is. I think it's like 4,000 pounds. Going up and down hills, this thing got roughly anywhere from 10 miles per gallon to an astonishing 12 miles per gallon. I couldn't believe it. That doesn't sound like big numbers to you guys probably, but to me, that's amazing because I used to have a V8 Tundra, a 2014 V8 Tundra, and completely empty with nothing in it but just me, that thing would get 14 miles per gallon. This thing was getting 12 miles per gallon with a trailer on it. So would the Tundra get better gas mileage if I was towing with street tires? I would think so, but still, 13 miles per gallon on Toyo Open Country mud terrains, that's not bad considering I got 14 miles per gallon in my 2014 V8 Tundra with street tires. That's not bad. So that's pretty good, man. In my eyes, that's pretty good for a gas truck. Usually gas trucks absolutely suck when it comes to towing. You put any kind of load on a gas truck and you're going to go down to like 7 or 8 miles per gallon sometimes. Like, of course, depending on the weight of the trailer. So this thing, 10 to 12 miles per gallon, I was super happy. Is that 100% accurate? I have no idea. I don't know. But that's what the computers are telling me. And if it's accurate, if it's true, man, I'm happy. Because 12 miles per gallon, that means a lot when you're paying $6 a gallon in some places. Oh, another cool thing that you would never know by reading a book or a manual or any kind of Toyota commercial or advertising. There was a lot of times where I was driving in this truck with just the vent, not the AC, but the air vent, just flowing air through the cab, and the air was cool, which is strange because it was like 70, 80, 90 degrees in some places in California, and I didn't have the AC on. I just had the vent on, and it was blowing cold air. I don't know what that was. Anybody out there can explain that? What's going on there? Because I even told my wife, I'm like, babe, is the AC on? And she's like, nope, AC's not on. It's just the vent. And it was blowing cold air. So maybe I'm going crazy. Maybe I'm wrong. But that was pretty awesome that it blew cold air even without the AC on. And then also too, when I did tow with the AC on, didn't affect it one bit. You know, some vehicles, the temperature gauge starts to go up when you are going uphill with a trailer. They tell you to turn off your AC. I had no issues with my AC at all. I had no issues with the turbos. I had no check engine lights. I had nothing. No issues with this truck whatsoever. 1,000 miles of towing, 3 states, 10 days. No issues at all with this truck at all, as far as reliability goes. All right, so I ranted and raved on all the great things about the 2022 Tundra. Well, what about the negative things? Okay, so there's a couple negative things that I can complain about for sure. You know, I spent $60,000 on this brand new truck for its towing capability, specifically for its towing capability with the airbags and the cameras and all that. And it didn't come with folding out or extending tow mirrors. You know, you could have kept the big screen. I don't need that. I don't need the sunroof. You know, I don't need the leather. I don't need these Nerf bars or step bars. I don't need any of that. You know what I could have used though is built-in mirrors that fold out or extend out. That's what I could really use. So a little bit of a complaint there. I guess you can't win them all. I had to go to AutoZone and buy these clamp-on towing mirrors, which worked fantastic, by the way. I highly recommend these. They didn't fall off the truck, and they worked fantastic. This one has like a fisheye lens on this side, so I could really see the lines on the road on this side, or if there was a truck or a vehicle that I'm trying to pass. This setup here was phenomenal on the passenger side. And at first I only bought one. I bought this one at first. I thought that was enough, but it wasn't. I needed 2 of them. As you could see everything on that side of the road, and then over here I really needed to see the vehicles because I was always in the slow lane. I was usually in the slow lane, so I want to see who's in the fast lane on this side if I needed to do anything on this side. So it just straps on here, no problem. It doesn't mess up the paint or anything. And it stayed on there nice for, you know, hundreds of miles. It never fell off, so that's kind of nice. Love it. It just sucks that I had to do that though. So now I'm going to keep these in my inventory here, so if I ever get another trailer, I'll have those with me now. But I wish they were built in. Another thing that I could complain about, other than the mirrors, was I was always in and out of the back of the truck because I had the bikes here, the e-bikes, and I really wish there was a step right here, like lower than this, like right here, like on a Chevy. I don't know. I'm probably gonna buy that step that comes down here just so I can step into the back here, because that really got annoying after a while, constantly stepping up high like that. I'm getting old, man. I'm getting old. I know I shouldn't complain about that, but I'm looking for things to complain about, and that's one of them. And the last thing I could complain about really isn't an issue with the truck at all. It's just the trailer in general. I wish there was a backup camera right up here that would send a Wi-Fi image to the dash so I could see what's back here when I'm backing up. That would have been really nice. I know modern trailers have that. Again, I'm not even knocking this trailer. It's just an older trailer. It doesn't have it, but I could really see how that comes in handy, because I was already spoiled with the 6 cameras on the truck, but then when it came to the trailer, I still couldn't see anything. So my wife would have to get out and ground guide me if I had to back into something like a stall or a parking lot or whatever. So it would have been nice to have a camera attached to the back of the travel trailer. That's my after action report on my 10-day road trip across 3 states. This was a fantastic experience. Big shout out to Keith over at lifestylerv.com for lending me his trailer for this 10-day road trip. Appreciate it. Check him out if you're ever in the Reno area and you want to buy a camper. But yep, there you go, guys. Hit that like button to support my channel. I appreciate it. It helps me out a lot. Ring the bell to be notified when I upload new videos, and leave a comment below. Let me know what you think about the Toyota Tundra 2022 for a tow truck or a tow vehicle.